Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to discuss a very interesting topic called Docker. How do we do it? We're going to use an existing application that I have and see how we can utilize Docker to actually just run that application instead of just going through and creating and all that business. So if you're not familiar with my channel, please take some time and take a look at some of the videos that I created that talks about various technologies, starting from Java to Spring Boot to Jenkins to React and Angular and all that. So for today's topic, we're going to use an existing application. So in my channel, if you go ahead and hit the playlist, you'll end up in here. And then go ahead, click on this playlist right here, Java JEE SQL tutorial. And they will take you to this screen, and you're looking at the third video from the top. So that would be this guy right here. So you click on it, and basically this video, I talked about how to create a ChatGPT type application using Java Spring Boot. And of course, feel free to take a look at it and look at all the GitHub links and everything to see where to get the code. So you will see that how the application works. In general, it's a simple ChatGPT type application where you can type in a question and it automatically sends that question to the OpenAI's 3.5 ChatGPT engine, and it will just get an answer, and you can keep doing that. So that's basically what it does. But again, this is done using Spring Boot, and what I have done is I have containerized it. So today what we're going to do is we're going to just see how we can just get that software out from the Docker Hub and just run it without just doing anything. You don't need any Java, you don't need any Spring Boot or any other little tool on your machine. All you're going to need is the tools that is required to run Docker. That's it. So let's get started. So the first thing you're going to need is Oracle VirtualBox VM. So this is free. You can just download it and install it, and it's pretty simple to download or install. So go ahead and install this first. Once you install it, and then go to this link, and it tells you after you have the Oracle VirtualBox what to do to get your Ubuntu installed on the Oracle VirtualBox on Windows. And it's a very good tutorial. And again, you can even do this thing in any other operating system as well if you want to. So do this, follow this tutorial, install VirtualBox, and then install the Ubuntu on your system. So once you have all that, then the next thing is you're going to need Docker, right? Well, of course, you can go to Docker. This is the site, and go ahead, create an account. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. It gives you, I think, up to 1 private and 2 public, total of 3 images that you can put. And then, of course, you can go to this link to find out how to install Docker engine on Ubuntu once you have the Ubuntu installed with the previous steps. So these are all kind of step-by-step that what you need to do to get the Docker installed on an Ubuntu image on a Windows. Since I'm on Windows, that's what I'm talking about. But you can also do similar things on Mac if you want. So once you have all of that done, then you will most likely have something like this. Once you have installed the Ubuntu image, you'll have something like this. So this is the Ubuntu image, and what I have right now is a terminal open. And the way you find out that you got your Docker installed properly, you could just say sudo docker --help and make sure that something like this comes up. So you know that your Docker is working fine. And we'll clear the screen. Then my next step would be that, again, remember what I have suggested, that you need to have a Docker login and ID, right? So make sure you have one. That's always a good idea. So I'm going to go ahead and log in to the Docker. So the way you would do it is you would supply something like this. You would say sudo, and again, you always try to run this sudo docker login -- username. I already have the username in this variable, and I have the password in this variable. Even it's not recommended to do it this way, but for our tutorial purpose, you could do it for now that way. So again, as you can see, it says login succeeded. So using username and password, go ahead, log in. The next thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull out the image. Now, where is the image coming from? Well, let me show you. In my Docker hub, so this is actually my Docker hub that I just logged in. I got these 3 images: ChatGPT, VMS all, and this CoinGecko API client Java. Out of these 3, one of them is private. So this one is private. So this one, I can see it, I can get it to it, you can't. But you can monkey around with these other 2. You can actually, see what they are. So this is the one that we're gonna deal with today, ChatGPT. You can also try this one too. This one also works fine. This is just kind of shows the crypto market. So this one is for that. But again, we're gonna work on this one. And this one is fairly small image compared to other ones. So how do I pull the image? So the way you do it is, of course, you run some very simple command called docker pull, right? So what you want to run is sudo docker pull and the name of the image. Oops. Go sudo docker pull, and I should just cover /ChatGPT. That was the name of the image, if you recall. So that's the name of the image right here. And you don't have to put the tag. By default, it always gets the latest. So if you just do this, it will automatically pull the latest one here. And as you can see, it's downloading that image, basically getting that software, right? This should be a fairly quick thing because it's not that bigger of an image, right? And once it gets it, we can just run it. No problem at all. Without any doubt, we'll just go ahead and run it. So again, there's one more thing that you would need in order to run so it actually pulled that image. So you got the image, that's good. The next thing you're gonna need is you're gonna have to have an OpenAI key, right? OpenAI demo key. Now, if you go back to one of these videos that I just mentioned in this video, it actually tells you how to get that. Basically, it's free. It's go to OpenAI and register an API key, and then just grab that key, and that would be your key. So you can use it, I think, up to a certain time as free. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run the software that I just have, right? So the software name was, of course, ChatGPT. So that is the name, and the command, all it's doing is it's saying that docker run, it basically says run it, and -it, this basically means that run an image and terminate once the image is done. Like once I kill it, just say that, basically just remove the image, don't keep it in the memory and all that. And that's what also this means, --rm. -b basically saying that by default that image is going to run, because as you know, it's going to run a Tomcat server to serve the web. It's going to run on 8080 port. So that is inside the image. It basically says that map that port to 80. So basically, when it would run on my local machine, you just run on a default web server, port 80. And -e this is how you pass all the environment variables, right? Whatever environment variables that is expected inside the Docker image. So in that image, you can actually go back and look at it. It is documented. It did put that in the document. If you click on it, we'll talk about in the documentation that you need to pass this pin demo API key. So that's the name of the variable that you're passing, and I already have in my environment variable this the value of that. So that's what it's going to pass in this environment variable of the Docker image, and this is just the name of the image that I'm running, which is what I just pulled. So that's it. And then if I just hit enter, you'll notice it is supposed to be pretty fast. You see how quick that is? It's very quickly just ran it because I actually am using something called a native image of Java. So it's actually running an exe file that is been created from the Spring Boot. So anyway, so now it's time to test it. So you open any browser, and if I just go to http://localhost, it should just automatically bring the ChatGPT. And I think I ran it before, that's why it remembered it, and it's trying to bring it. And as you can see, it brought it right away. You could tell that. So localhost just brought this thing in, and I can now start chatting. Hi there. There you go. Well, do you know about Docker? Yeah, Docker is platform over web application. Okay, cool. All right. Is it better to use Docker or compiled software? It's a dumb question anyway, but let's see what it says. It really depends on the, yeah, that's a smart thing that it did. It says it depends. Yeah, that's actually a good answer. Okay, so there you go. So using this Docker image, you don't need to have any Spring Boot, you don't need to have any Java, nothing else. You can now pretty much not only run this, you can also run any other application as well, right? So let me show you another one, right? So this was the ChatGPT, so I'm just gonna go ahead and kill that. And by the way, the way you can see the list of images that you have running, it's a fairly simple command that you can use. It's called, I think it's this that you want to run. If you do this now, you can see that there's an image that this is the name of the image, right? That as you saw, this image that's running. We're going to try to pull another image out, right? That I have from the repository. So let's try to pull out this guy as well. That one's probably going to be a little bit bigger, so it's going to take some time. Yeah, another thing is once you go and click on one of these repositories, you can go to tags and you can literally copy this command, right? This tells you how to pull it. So that's another way to do it. That's what I'm going to do. Let it pull. And this one is a little bit bigger. I think it's about 350 megs or something like that. So it's going to take some time. Okay, the pull is done. Now let's see if we can find out if there's any container running right now, like any other stuff that is in the memory that's running. One way to do it is you run this command sudo docker container ls -a, and there's nothing running, which is good. And we already knew that there's only one image, or now you got two images, that's what we should see. That's the one that we ran before, and this is the one we just pulled, right? And you can see that it shows the size. This was the little bigger one. Next thing what we're going to do is we're going to try to run this image, right? And again, it's simple. The way you run it is you kind of bring what you ran before, and instead of ChatGPT, you could say this guy right here. But you can also use its address to run it. Like you can use one of these, like 8A, and it will also run it. It will know what the image ID is automatically. So you can either do it that way, or I could just go and say run the image ID 8A. I just say 8A, and it will know exactly what to run. And as you can see, it's running. There's actually, this one is not a native image. There's literally running a Java container, Tomcat, in the background. As you can see, it's all up and running. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring my web page and go to localhost. I let it go here. And there it is. It came by. And as you can see, this was basically was the market. I could try to find Bitcoin here. It's the real price right now. Bitcoin, 62,000. Cool. All right. Okay, that's all I have for the demo of these applications using Docker images. Now, if you're interested to see what this application is, I also have that demo or tutorial in details. If you go back to my channel, and third one was the ChatGPT, but if you go look at the fifth one, that is the application that you just saw with the Market Watch. So, feel free to go ahead and look at it. Now let's look at the code. I mean, what's going on in this, right? If you refer to my GitHub page, especially the application ChatGPT, that's the one I started with, feel free to go to that actual application and look at these files, Docker file and Docker native. I typically, so this is kind of like the standard Docker file that you would be called Docker file, of course. And these are the file that is used to create Docker image. Now, why I have two of them? Well, this is the one that is actually what I use to do my final image that I just pulled out. So that's what's used in here, right? So what's the difference? The difference is this one actually uses some interesting technology called GraalVM. It not only after creating the Spring Boot jar file using GraalVM, you can actually turn that into a native executable, literally an exe file for Windows, and it's basically just in Linux, like machine language, machine instruction. So that is why it's pretty fast, right? So let's go to one of these ones. So this Docker file is just kind of standard that if you have to read, it's basically saying that you can use various different JVMs. It's using an existing JVM that's Eclipse Tamarin, that also has a Tomcat in there as well. And then, of course, initially all it's doing is copying that jar file that you already built on your local system, putting it into an image and exposing that port and just basically saying how to run it. It's nothing but run using java-jar chatgpt.jar, kind of like that. So, that's simple enough, right? But watch what the native is even simpler. The native one is all it's saying is, hey, oh, there's one more thing I forgot to mention, is the Docker file also, it is expecting in that demo API key that I talked about. Same thing, this one is, the native one is also expecting the demo API key, but the native one, see how simple it is. It's just using a very slim version of Ubuntu, which actually kind of comes from Debian Linux. And then all I'm doing is just copying that final executable file and running it. That's it. And exposing port 8080. As simple as that. But that is the simplest version. That's all I have for today. If this video added value to your existing skill set, please do subscribe my channel and hit that like button and also the bell icon so that you get notified for subsequent videos. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye now.